Good morning, learners. Our grade 4 learners back at home. I hope you are doing so well. I gave you some work last week, and we are supposed to identify things that you can be able to touch, can feel them, and those things that you can only touch, can feel them, but they flow. Others can only feel them. Now, remember we started our chapter States of Matter, and we tried to group things into three main groups, whereby we talked about solids, lipids, and gases. Just to remind you what we did: solids, lipids, and then gases. And then we gave examples of solids. Solids, we said you can be able to touch them, can feel them, and we can see them. And we gave examples of those things. And we said like books we found here, desks, we have pens, rulers, stones, trees, windows, doors, the floor of the house, the classroom, all these keys, phone, computer, etc. All those are going to be found in solids. Then we say we have liquids, like we have those liquids that we interact with at home, and have water that we use during cooking. We have milk. We have diesel that is used to run engines, diesel, petrol. We have ink. We have cooking oil, etc. All those are going to be found in liquids. Then we have gases. Then have the smell that you feel. Sometimes when the air is not so good, or when you pass where we have some litter dam, where you are dam side, you can feel some smell. So that smell is in form of gases. You can have also air. Then we have wind. So the air and wind is almost the same thing. It's a moving wind. Wind is a moving air. Air is a moving, blowing some air. So we can have so many other things. Gases we can have. Later on in class 7, we are going to realize that we have different types of air. We have the oxygen. The one that we breathe in is called oxygen. Then we breathe some air out. Then the one that we breathe outside is called carbon dioxide. Then we have others that I mention later in the upper classes. So this is exactly what we did. We tried to group items into three categories as solids, liquids, and gases. And I gave you some work. Very few brought the work, so I need to see that work before tomorrow. So in our next lesson, learner, you're going to realize that while we are saying solids, these items are found in solids, these items are found as liquids, and these items are found as gases because of their characteristics, the way they appear, the way they behave. So in our next lesson, I want us to look at the characteristics of solids. How do solids behave? So that you can say, now this is a solid, it's not a liquid, it's not a gas. So you're going to realize that solids have what we call definite shape. They have, number one, solids have definite shape. Solids have definite shape. What do you mean by the definite shape? That their shapes do not change. Their shape do not change. If you have a pen, that is a pen. Look at that shape. It's definite. That pen's shape cannot change. Even if you want to put this pen, if you put it in a bucket, can pick it there and put it in the pocket, and also pick it from there and put it in a locker. This is going to remain the same. Definite shape is going to remain the same. Number two, solids are, so we can talk about shapes here. Can have another shape. Can have also, so this is a rectangular shape. Rectangular shape. Can have a square shape. Square shape. Can also have an oval shape. Can have solids that look oval. Oval shape. You can also have solids that are round, circular in shape. Circular shape. So solids pick all these types of shapes. We can have solids that are rectangular in shape. If you look at your desk, the way where you write from in school is rectangular in shape, where you keep your books. You can have square shapes of solids that are square in shape. There are those that are circular in shape, like a ball. A ball is circular in shape. And so that is the shape of that particular solid we call a ball. So all these are different shapes. So we are saying that solids have definite shape. They are definite shape. So we go to characteristic number two. Characteristic number two of solids. And we say solids have definite volume. Solids have definite volume. Sometimes volume is also referred to as size. You can also say size. You're going to realize that in upper classes, but there is no harm when I say that solids have definite volume or size. What do you mean by size? If you look at an activity here, we have an activity here whereby the amount of soil that remains is equal to the same by the stone. Now, if you have some soil here, you have some soil here. This soil, you put it, or let's talk about a stone. A stone will do well. Now you have a stone here. This is a stone. A stone, we know a stone is a solid. We have what we call a eureka can. What is a eureka can, Lana? A eureka can is a type of just a container whereby if you want to measure volume, the thickness, what is volume? The amount of space. So the amount of space that is going to be occupied by this stone inside this water. Here we have water. So if we tie this stone with some thread and place it inside here. If you place it inside here, there is an amount of water that is going to be collected here. There is an amount of water that is going to be displaced. The meaning of the word displaced is like when somebody comes and sits where you're supposed to sit, you remain standing, meaning that you are displaced. You can no longer be where you are. So this stone is going to displace some water here, and that water is going to come out through this opening, and it will be emptied in this particular bucket or container. So if this stone is going to enter here, the amount of water that is going to be displaced, that is going to be drawn out through this spout into this particular container, is going to be the same volume. It is going to go by the same space that this stone was occupied. So that's why we're saying that solids have definite volume. They are going to occupy a space equal to the space of this particular water that I occupied before. We'll understand that later. I know the volume. Let me just write volume is. Volume is the amount of space occupied. Occupied by a substance, by matter. By matter. Matter, I said, can be anything. Anything, solid, liquid, or gas. So the amount of space, that's what we call volume. The amount of space occupied by matter is what we call volume. So the volume that is going to be occupied by this stone is going to be the same as the volume of water that is going to enter into this small container. So I can leave it at that point, learner, so that you will understand. So we have said solids have definite shape, they have definite volume, and lastly, we're going to realize that solids also have definite mass. Read, solids have definite mass. So we want to explain what mass is. And sometimes we realize that if you have two items like this, I have this and a piece of chalk, this blue chalk. Both of these items are solids. If you can feel this, the weight of this one feels heavier compared to this particular piece of chalk, meaning that their mass is different. The mass of this chalk is definite. If it's maybe 5 grams, even if you bring 10 pieces and you weigh each one of them, it's going to give you 5 grams. If there are these dusters and there are 10 pieces of them, and this one is maybe 20 grams, if you weigh each one of them, it's going to give you 20 grams. That's what we mean by definite mass, that the mass does not change. If you take this duster and throw it away, you go and still measure it, you realize that it's still 20 grams. So meaning that the heaviness does not change. So if you compare this one is has less weight compared to this one. So this is heavier than this particular piece of chalk. So we're saying mass is the amount of matter in an object. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. That's why you will say, give me 1 kilogram of sugar. That kilogram is the mass of that sugar. Give me 2 kilograms of wheat flour or wheat flour. So the wheat flour, the unga, chapati, that unga is 2 kg. So that 2 kilograms becomes the mass of that particular wheat flour. Give me maybe a liter or maybe a kg of the powdered milk. You know the powdered milk? 1 kg. So that 1 kg becomes mass. We are going to realize that later in our lessons. So in our base lessons, learner, in our base lesson, we have realized that solids have definite mass, definite volume, and then have definite shape. Shape, mass, and then volume. Both of them are definite. The reason I'm stressing on this is because we are going to meet another type of matter, that is liquid, whereby we're going to see it having different characteristics. So until next time, learner, I want to wish you well. Copy these notes well, as you indicate by writing and showing using diagrams of exactly what I have shown you here. So the most important parts to be able to make to be mastered are those 3. Solids have definite shape, they have definite volume, and then they have definite mass. I'll also ask that in the next lesson. God bless you. Have a nice day. Back at home.